Dear brethren, my name is Wambogu, the MUKUI MONDO, and I have a message to the G7 and specifically to the Big Five. We have given a notice that the time has come for the installation of the Harbinger as the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces in Kenya, hence to be renamed the Royal Forces, and also installing him as the head of the Kingdom of Zion that was established in July 2025. However, before I give the nitty-gritties about the installation of the Harbinger as the Commander-in-Chief and the head of the kingdom, not only in Kenya, but the Kingdom of Zion worldwide, under the kingship and command of Yeshua HaMashiach, there are a few things I need to remind the Big Five, being USA, Britain, France, Russia, and China. You who are said to hold the military might of this world. I want to flash you a little bit back to 2023. You remember, we did crash and bring down the altar of Apollyon at Kilidini Harbor in Mombasa. The altar that you had set in preparation for your one government trials in 2030. It's in record. We have the videos in my timelines. And you remember, despite your might and power, despite the altar being under the command of the God of this world called Lucifer, we did demolish the altar and we did capture 2 satellites that were made of a fetus and electrical circuit that signified and were the backbone of your Blue Beam, the DAPA, the HAPA projects for the One World Government trials. You remember very well, you did send your best in the world, the CIA, the FBI, the MSS, the MI6, and all the major intelligence services and investigatory bodies to come and trace the satellites. You also remember your satellites at Mai Mahiu? We also captured them, and all those, we deactivated them. You tried your best, you sent your best, you even sent your sorcerers and your enchanters to follow up on the satellites to no avail. I would also like to remind you in 2024, when the youth of this nation rose, and you helped this government, and you pushed it and pampered it, when it murdered our young people, the Gen Z, in cold blood, as they tried to protest against misgovernance, corruption, opulence, and greed. Fast forward, in 2025, this team and other teams did announce that there was to be a kingdom established in 2025. As a result, maybe Kenyans didn't know. We saw all of you. You feted Ruto, you wined and dined him. In your kingdoms, you invited them from Joe Biden, you invited them to China. Even the kings of this world came to this country. You also remember, like we told you, King Charles did come to this country, went to Aberdare, trying to set up altars to counter the altar of the body of Yeshua HaMashiach at Mount Zion. All that did not succeed. Today, you've not been able to recover your satellites. You've not been able to capture them. When our young people rose in 2025 demanding change of government, we know you supported Ruto. You know you stood by the President Ruto. Irrespective of the fact that he killed our children in cold blood, you stood with him. Just because, unlike the most ordinary people know, because you knew there was a kingdom to be established, and you tried your best to stop it. You did send your best. Janice, you did send your best. The Americans, you did send your CIA, you did send your FBI, and all that never achieved anything because the kingdom was still established. Fast forward, we did indicate that we shall establish the kingdom. And despite your intervention of all the world powers, including the kings of the north, you are not able to stop the establishment of the kingdom. Now, I have a message for you that you are all aware, because now the whole world knows, we have announced to you for more than 4 years, that the God of heaven is setting up a kingdom on this earth. As in Daniel 2, 42 to 45. That in these last days, the God of heaven shall set up a kingdom on this earth that shall not have an end. You're also aware, as it is written in Matthew 28:18, that that kingdom shall be bestowed upon Yeshua HaMashiach. And you very well know, as in Revelation 20, verse 1 to 6, that that kingdom is the millennium. Every country is aware that this kingdom, as per the prophecy, the biblical prophecy and the world prophecies, was to be established in a country south of Cush, as in Isaiah 18, 1 to 3, and as in Zephaniah 3, 10 to 12. And as our King of Kings and Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, did indicate in Matthew 12, 42, and in Luke 11, 31 to 32, that south of Cush, the descendants of Queen Sheba shall arise and do judgment. And there shall arise one more wiser than Solomon. It is now known as the spiritual realm for anybody who accesses it, be it the crystal gazers, be it the enchanters, and all that, that there is already a kingdom established, that the God of heaven has established a kingdom. Now, this is my message. You interfered, and you have kept on interfering with the affairs of this nation unperturbed. Last August, we did send you a message that the G7, and specifically the big five that I have mentioned above, being USA, being Britain, being France, Russia, and China, you've continued interfering in the internal affairs of this country. Now, the time has come, at the day that the Almighty Jehovah has appointed for Yeshua HaMashiach to take his rightful role and install the Harbinger as the commander-in-chief of the force of all the defense and war forces in this country called Kenya, and also to install him at State House as the head of the government and the head of the nation, as the Harbinger to the king of this nation. You've tried for a long time to try to stop the affairs of the YSF. This time, don't even dare contemplate. Your armament, your armadas, your arsenals are all nothing before the eyes of the Almighty Jehovah and before our King and Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach. And if you doubt, I refer you to Revelation 9 and verse 16. It gives you a clear sign on the power of the Almighty God and the kind of armories and armors and arsenals and armadas he has prepared for the takeover of the kingdoms of this earth, for the kingdom of heaven to take over the kingdoms of this earth. And if you doubt the power of the Yeshua of the YSF, I would ask you to give a call to Putin. Give a call to Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Europe. Give a call to the King of England, and they will tell you the abilities and the capabilities on the YSF in installation of the Kingdom of Zion that is starting to Kenya. My warning to you is interfere at your own risk. You have tested the power of the YSF. You have tested the power of the celestial intel. And unlike the common man, everybody in the world, the big powers in the world, even your enchanters, the Druids, the Skull and Bones, the Shinto priests, the dragon priests, all of you are aware about the power that has been bestowed upon our King and Commander, Yeshua HaMashiach. As we prepare for the final days, we do the final preparation for the installation of the Habinga. I repeat, as the commander-in-chief of the nation called Kenya, and as the head of government or nation in the head and the country called Kenya, and the removal of President Ruto and his regime from the instrument of power and from the government, you are advised to keep off and not interfere. This is not a warning. It is just a message that I'm giving you from my King Yeshua HaMashiach to the glory of the Almighty God. This I decree and declare in the order of Melchizedek. I am Wambogo, the MUKUI MONDO, a servant of the Almighty, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient Jehovah, and a close confidant of Yeshua. In his kingdom I serve, and his installation of the Habinga and the kingdom I make clear. Peace, peace, amani, amani, shalom, shalom.